Good morning, folks. This is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle. I'm coming to you this morning. It is September the 13th, 2025, and it's now, I believe, 2 days since Charlie Kirk has been shot. I really don't want to speak about it, but I do have to say one thing about it. With my career, 31 years in the Department of Corrections, I have seen some very bad stuff happen. I have seen some very bad stuff happen. I have developed a very dark sense of humor. 31 years being surrounded with criminal negativity will do that to you. I've been called every possible name you can think of. I've noticed that the very first thing that goes away once you anger somebody is respect. That's the very first thing that goes away. I lose my title as captain when they go away. Inmates refuse to refer to me as sir when I anger them, and by angering them, I mean not giving them what they want, not letting them do what they want. And now I see that by not giving people what they want and by showing an opposing view, regardless of how peaceful it is, you can be killed for it. That's not even what this video is about. This video is about people celebrating the death of another human being. There are certain people that have died over the past 3 decades or so that I won't miss. But I've never once celebrated a death. Even when Jeffrey Dahmer was killed, I did not celebrate his death. Celebrating the death of somebody else is morbid. It's uncalled for, and it's just downright mean. I don't think there's any place for that in this world, to celebrate the death of somebody else. Doesn't matter what he was killed for, doesn't matter what he did in his life, doesn't matter if he was opposing views of yours or what. Don't celebrate a death. That's really all I got to say on the matter, folks. I never met Charlie Kirk. I would have liked to. I never met his wife. Certainly would have liked to, because she is strong. I saw the statement that she gave, and I wouldn't have had that in me. That is a very strong individual right there to be able to give those remarks. But to the people that are actively celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, to the point where they're singing into a megaphone on the streets, "We got Charlie in the neck," or just the outright lunacy of celebrating somebody being assassinated for their political beliefs. There's no place for that in this world, folks. We need to stop. We need to stop. Left, right, center, black, white, young, old, male, female, whatever gender you choose to be, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. I can't say that loud enough. It needs to stop. I've also seen other conservatives, I myself am a conservative, but I've seen other conservatives talking about this as a call to arms. I really don't want it to become a call to arms. We don't need that in this country. But the divide is wider than I've ever seen it. I'm 55 years old. I've lived through a lot. I was born in 1970. And the divide in this country is bigger than I've ever seen it. still does not give anybody the right to kill somebody over an opposing view. And it certainly doesn't give anybody the right to celebrate that assassination like it's a good thing. Folks, that's all I'm going to say on that matter. I'm still in my knee replacement recovery. I have 3 workouts scheduled today that I'm imposing on myself to help get my 132 degrees of bend back in my knee that I need to get the other one fixed. I hope to be able to return to work soon. But I'm still deeply troubled by the callousness of my country. The callousness of my country when it comes to the death of another person. The absolute disregard for life has got to change. I should have a big disregard for human life. I should. With my profession, I am surrounded by negativity all day, every day. We all are. Anybody that works in my corrections profession is surrounded by negativity all day, every day. I once had an instructor when I was in the academy. He was a major in the department, and he told me, and he said it in a joking manner, but excuse me, it's really not a joking manner. Pardon my language, but he said, I've been called a motherfucker so many times in my career that I now expect Mother's Day cards from the population. And that is the small tip of the iceberg of negativity that surrounds us. There's no place for that in civilized society. I get that there might be a place for it in the prison system. I really don't think there is. But when you put that many negative type personalities in one location, you're going to get that kind of stupidity. But folks, we got to stop. We got to change. We got to do better. I work in the Department of Corrections. My job is to correct bad behavior. This country needs to correct some bad behavior. I don't want to go to war over political ideology. I don't think any of us want to go to war over political ideology. But we've got evil happening in this country at an unprecedented rate. We got a man that's father of 2, a husband, 31 years old. He's shot because he talks to people with an opposing viewpoint. We have a little Ukrainian girl get stabbed on a train for nothing. School shootings, left, right, sideways, and inside out. Folks, the evil is pervasive in this country. And we have got to change. We've got to change. We've got to change. And I pray to God. I pray to God every day anyway, but I pray to God that He intervene and get this country back on the straight and narrow. Folks, that's all I got for this video. I know I said I wasn't going to do a political speech or anything like that, but I don't consider this a political speech. I consider this a humanity speech. I consider this, find your humanity. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care what political affiliations you have. I don't care what your political views are. You should never celebrate the death of another human being. Now I'm going to close this video the way I normally close this video. There is no place for domestic violence in this world. If you are the victim of a domestic violence situation, or you know the victim of a domestic violence situation, 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233, 799-SAFE. is a domestic violence hotline. The people at the other end of that phone call have the tools, abilities, resources, and are willing to help the victims of domestic violence. If you know the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, please say something to somebody. The worst thing that you can do is nothing. And if you are the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, get help. First, admit that you need help. Second, ask for it. It'll come. It'll be there. This is Dave Smith of Correctional Officer Lifestyle. Rest in peace, Mr. Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace, the young lady from the train. And everybody that has been killed in these school shootings. Everybody rest in peace. And I'll see y'all in the next video.